All right, so here we have a very simple form. What we'd like to be able to do is to tie those two input fields to state variables in the component, these username and password. We're going to tie this username and password, we're going to tie them to these two input fields so that we can grab the values and run some logic. Maybe we can run some logic in our login, right? Saying that if the username are correct, then we'll let you through. If not, they're not, we won't let you through. Yes? All right, so let's do that. So the way we're going to do that is to use what is called the NG model, right? The NG model. The NG model is an attribute. It's an Angular attribute that allows you to tie this input field to a state variable in the component, right? So for instance, this input field, I want to tie it to the username. There it is. I'm going to tie it to the username, right? And the password, I'm going to tie it to the password. There we go, right? It's complaining, right? It's complaining that I might be missing the module that declares ng model. Let's see what does it say. Import forms. Okay, yeah, so we're going to do that. But I wonder where is it going to import it to? Where did it import it? Where did you import it? Right, I hope it imported in the right place. Let's see. You should have imported right here. It did. Okay, there it is in the imports. We could have done that by hand. Unfortunately, form support of being able to read and write input fields is not supported right out of the box. You need to import a couple of you need to import at least the form modules library, right, and declare as an import in the top level ng module. This is the top level configuration TypeScript, the app.modules. If you remember, we used it earlier to declare our core service. Also, all our components are declared here: login, register, profile. They're all declared here. It's a overarching, top level configuration file. In this particular place, we're declaring the forms module as being available all throughout our entire application. And in particular, it allows us to declare and map input fields and map them to state variables like we're doing right here. Everybody okay? All right, excellent. Now that they're tied and bound to these input fields, in the login, I now have access to these username and password as valid values that I typed in the input field. I could say, console log the username, this dot username, right? And I can also print out the password as I log in. So password, right? And let's see if this works. Let's do an inspect. Let's refresh this and look at the console. And if I do a login, notice that indeed, whatever I typed here in the input field, if I type in Bob Hope, and I type the update profile, notice that, oops, no, I'm sorry, that's the login, in the login. If I type Bob and Hope, if I click on login, notice that indeed I have the values, right? Now I can validate, right? If it's correct, if it's a username and password I was expecting, then I'll let you through. Otherwise, I don't let you through, right? So that's very easy. I could just go into my login and I can check and I can say, if this dot username is equal to Bob and this dot password is equal whatever expected Hope, then I let you through. Otherwise, I don't. Right? I say, there it is. I'm checking for this. Maybe I have an alert box. Maybe I have like a message, right? And the message, I can render that message here below the login page. I could maybe have a message, and but I could say that if you are Bob Hope, then I let you in. Otherwise, I'm going to say message, sorry, try again. Sorry, this dot message is sorry, try again. Right, so let's try that. If I go to login, right, and if I type Alice, I click on login, it fails. What? Message is not defined. mean it's not defined? This.message, message, message. Maybe I didn't refresh. Login. All right, there it is. It did work. So sorry, try again. Or if I say Bob and I say Hope, then it navigates to my profile. Make sense? Right? Obviously, the more rigorous way to do this is that you would not do this on the client. Otherwise, the username and password, the valid username and password, would be freely available to anybody who wants to see your code. You would go out to the server, right? You would go and maybe do a fetch where you pass in a login, right? And you put your username and password as part of the body, right? And then it comes back with a Boolean saying true or false or something like that. And depending on the response from the server, then you do the navigation or you fail it. Make sense? Everybody okay? All right.